Welcome back to the channel, guys. Summer is in full swing. I'm wearing the Rolex GMT Master 2 today, and today we're making a video. You know, I sent my Timex, I have a Timex, I have actually reviewed it on the channel, please check that video out. I sent it away to my friend Daniel at Mad for Watches, terrific YouTube channel. He did a great unboxing, a really nice video, but he mentioned one thing in his video that actually made me pause for a while and think about it. He said that the watch was overpriced.
What did you say?
He said that it was a great watch, nicely finished, great details, fitted him perfectly on the wrist and everything like that, but that the brand itself and the watch itself, you pay a lot for stuff that you don't get. Overpriced. You can get a lot more for a lot less. If you look at AliExpress or the Chinese automatic watch brands, you can get a lot more. You pay for the brand. And that got me thinking about this video today, because I was actually going to make this video anyway. I was actually doing a comparison. I said it in my unboxing of the Citizen Navihawk Pro Master that I was going to do a full comparison with the Seiko Speedtimer, and Daniel's video with the Timex and with the comment of it being overpriced nicely segued into this video, because of all the brands, there are a lot of brands out there. I mean, Rolex, Omega, I think most of them are overpriced. Famous brands that have a strong brand name are usually overpriced. You can get far more specifications in a less expensive watch if you just look at a brand that is not that famous. That goes for almost any brand. But Seiko is a special case, because Seiko went from, when I started collecting watches, from being the affordable king, in a span of like 10 years it's up there with the overpriced brands. And the brand to prove that is another brand from the same country, Japan, offering you basically the same watch for almost half the cost, and that's Citizen. Today we're taking a look at these two great watches, and I'm going to give you at least 5 objective facts that the Citizen is a better watch than the Seiko, and that the Seiko is overpriced compared to the Citizen. Subjectivity is a totally different thing. You can you can like a bigger watch, someone likes a smaller watch, so diameter is a subjective fact. You either like it bigger or you like it smaller, but there are some objective facts that you cannot dispute in ways that the Citizen actually beats the Seiko. Let's forget about this phase for a while, head on over to the table, take a look at these two great watches, and let's make the video. Let's go! Okay guys, let's introduce today's contenders. Here we have them. On my left we have the Seiko Speedtimer SSC 911 solar chronograph, and in my right hand we have the Citizen ProMaster Navihawk CA 4660-61A solar chronograph. Both are very, very similar watches when you look at them straight on. The Seiko was released first, and then the Citizen was released this year. 3 subdials, chronograph, crown pushers, very similar look here, as you can see. Both are white and black. This is actually kind of purple on the subdials. Both have a date window at between 4 and 5 o'clock. Both have the crown at 3 o'clock. 2 pushers. The Citizen has a rotating bezel. The Seiko has a fixed bezel. But yeah, they're very similar. So let's head on to the specifications. Both of these, I'm gonna just go from top to bottom and go over everything with the watches and say in what places the Citizen actually beats the Seiko. So both are solar chronographs. You leave them out in the sun or whatever, they charge up. Both have Japanese in-house movements. Both are solar-powered quartz watches. The Seiko has the caliber V192, and the Citizen has the EcoDrive B620. And this is where we actually meet our first pro with the Citizen. It is with the movement itself. The Seiko has a power reserve of 6 months. The Citizen has a power reserve of 270 days. That is approximately 9 months. So you get a higher power reserve with the Citizen than you get with the Seiko. First pro, first objective pro with the Citizen over the Seiko is with the actual movement. Both have an accuracy of plus minus 15 seconds a month. Both watches have a stopwatch function activated by the left upper pusher there. Right upper pusher there. Both have a seconds sub-dial. Let's just reset those pushers. There we go. Sweeping back. Both have a second sub-dial showing the seconds. The Seiko's is the left one here, and the Citizen is actually the bottom one right there. And both have date windows on their watches. So let's head on into the dimensions of the watches. Diameter, Seiko 41.4, Citizen 40 millimeters. So it is a tad bit smaller. The thickness of the Seiko is 13 millimeters. The thickness of the Citizen is 13.5 millimeters. I would have put this as a pro for the Seiko because in my opinion, thickness is actually an objective pro or con. If you have a slimmer watch, in my opinion, that is a pro and that is objective. But I know people like them bulky and hefty, so it could be a negative for a watch if it's thinner. So to me, it's basically not an objective truth. If it's thinner, the same way, if the diameter, if it's bigger, it could be a pro or it could be a con, depending on who you are. So we're not going to set it aside as an objective pro here. So the Seiko is a little bit thinner, 13 millimeters, 13.5. But the lug width on the Seiko is 21 millimeters, and the lug width on the Citizen is 20 millimeters. Right here we have a gray area. I will actually say that this is an objective pro for the Citizen here, because even though I couldn't care less about strap options, I always wear my watches on the bracelets. Having a 20 millimeter lug width gives you so much more to choose from with the Citizen than you can with the Seiko. 21 is just a little bit of an awkward sizing here. 20 millimeters opens up so many more possibilities for you. So to me, even though I don't care about sizing it up for different kind of bracelets and straps, that's the second objective pro with the Citizen. You get more options with that lug width. The lug to lug, Seiko 45.9. Lug to lug on the Citizen is 44.5. So it is a smaller watch, even if the Seiko actually has a really nice lug to lug. 45.9, it's not a big distance between those lugs, but 44.5 is still smaller. So if you prefer that, the Citizen is a smaller watch. The weight, here's the third pro in my opinion. The third objective pro, weight. If you like a hefty watch that feels, you can feel the heft on your wrist, the Seiko weighs 164 grams and the Citizen weighs 155 grams. You can feel both watches on your wrist. When you come up, you're over 150 grams. You're gonna feel both of these watches on your wrist. But the Citizen weighs just a tad less than the Seiko, and actually you might feel that when wearing it for a long period of time. So objectively better, a little less weight on the Citizen there. Curved sapphire on the Seiko, flat sapphire on the Citizen. Both have sapphire crystals, and that's a nice addition. Water resistance, here's the 4th Pro with the Citizen. Objectively, you cannot dispute this one. 100 meters with the Seiko, double that with the Citizen. 200 meters water resistance. I mean, come on. Come on, Seiko, you got to do something to beat this guy here. Magnetic resistance is the same on both of them. I cannot even say what it is. It's 4800 A-M. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'll ever use it. But great. Both of them are alike in that compartment. Yeah, and we have one more thing. The Seiko, this is also objectively better in my opinion. Seiko has a crown, but it has no branding whatsoever on that crown. The Citizen takes it a step further once again, and actually they give you a stamped crown right there. Such a nice little addition. And then we can talk about the bracelet, and that's just subjective, everything. The clasp itself, I would say, in my opinion, I prefer the bigger clasp on the Citizen, even though it is a stamped clasp. I really don't like this small little thing there, but that's also subjective. So, I mean, to each his own, I guess. You might prefer the Seiko more than the Citizen when it comes to the clasp. I just like the Citizen more when it comes to the actual clasp. So let's head over back to me and talk about the pricing, which will be actually the final nail in the coffin for the Seiko, because there's no disputing it when it comes to these two watches. The Citizen is the better watch. It simply is. But let's talk about the price. So to round it all off, we had the better movement with the Citizen, with the better power reserve. Actually basically the same movement, but still you have a better power reserve. You had a better lug width size if you want to pair it with a lot of different kind of straps. You have a less heavy watch with the Citizen, which when you wear it for a long time you might or might not actually feel it on your wrist, but even though it is less, you have double the water resistance with the Citizen. That's a good thing to have. And the price, and you have the signed crown on the Citizen, and you didn't have that on the Seiko. But the most important thing in all of this entire equation is, I mean, you have the price. And when it comes to the price, I just made a Google search. I found the cheapest alternative of these watches, brand new, not used. We both know that both of these brands actually lose a lot of value when they're used, but brand new, if you're buying the Citizen, you have to pay in Sweden 4,159 Swedish crowns. That is 431 US dollars and 375 euros. If you're buying the Seiko, you actually have to pay between 7,400 and 8,000 crowns. And if we're going with the cheapest alternative, even though that shop didn't have the watch in stock, but still we're going with 7,400. That's 767 US dollars and 670 euros. That is almost twice as much for a very similar watch from the same country, Japan, with basically the same movement, stainless steel watch, chronograph, solar quartz, better movement with the cheaper watch, double the water resistance with the cheaper watch, a little better options if you want to change straps with the cheaper watch, signed crown on the cheaper watch, and not as heavy with the cheaper watch. So Citizen, in my opinion, I've said it before and I'm saying it again, even though I like Seiko, they are masters of overpricing stuff. I mean, I haven't told you which watch I'm actually keeping between the two, because this goes beyond logic. I mean, this goes against logical thinking, because I'm keeping the Seiko.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
I know that the Citizen is a better watch. There's just something with the Seiko that appeals to me more, and that's on this subjective scale. I just like the design a little bit more. I like the fact that the subdials on the Seiko have a little purple tint to them. I like that the second hand is just a little bit bigger with the red details, giving it a little bit more red on that dial and design than the Citizen has. And I don't know, even though my brain really thinks that I should keep the Citizen because it is the better watch, we've established that, I hope, but I'm still keeping the Seiko, because collecting watches, buying stuff that you like, it's not always logical. I must say that it's on very rare occasions is it logical at all. I mean, the watches I could buy by just selling my GMT, there's no logic in keeping that, and there's no logic in keeping the Seiko instead of the Citizen here. But you collect with your heart. You don't collect with your mind.
Too adorable!
I mean, you can, and that's my point. That's my whole kind of answer to Daniel's video, because he pointed out that the Timex was overpriced, and there are a lot of cheaper options. There's always a cheaper option. There's always a cheaper and better watch if you're talking about specs. But somehow we're not always talking about specs, and that's not the only thing we're thinking about. We collect with our hearts, and that's the way it should be. Keep collecting, but with your hearts. Don't let the specs blind you. If you don't like a watch, it doesn't matter how good it is on paper, you're still not going to like wearing it. And if you like a watch, it doesn't matter how crappy it is on paper, you still like it because you collect with your heart.
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
Have a really nice day, my friends, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye. Oh, and I forgot almost the most important thing in the video. If you liked it, thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs down. Tell me why you didn't like it in the comments, and I'll try to do better until the next one. And if you loved it, please subscribe. That means a lot to me. Have a great day. Bye bye.